Hi, and welcome to Ivy English. I'm Karen.
And I'm Wesley.
Today is March 3rd, and we're on page 13 in your magazines. Today we have two short media articles for you. Let's just get started with the first one. Our title is New Venice Barriers Prevent Flooding. Wow, that's a really solid headline. New Venice Barriers Prevent Flooding.
好，我们的中文标题是威尼斯启用摩西计划，成功阻挡海潮啊。那当然这个中文的标题不是英文标题的翻译啊，英文标题基本上就是一个新的威尼斯的 barriers 就是一个这个屏障或者障碍啊 ，prevent 是避免 ，flooding 是水灾啊或者是洪水泛滥。
And if you want to know what they look like, check online. They're yellow. They're yellow.
所以是黄色的这些barriers 哈。
That's right. I looked at pictures of them. I was very impressed. And what are we impressed about? We're going to find out. New barriers installed in Venice in 2020 have proven capable of keeping high tide waters from flooding the city. The floodgate system, MOS, Modulo Sperimentale Elettromeccanico, or Experimental Electromechanical Module, was activated for the first time in July of 2020 after years of delays and setbacks. The system is made up of 78 barriers which can be raised to cut off the Venetian lagoon from the sea. In October, the MOS dams were used twice when the high tide rose to 120 centimeters and then 140 centimeters. On both occasions, the barriers saved the city from flooding that would have typically left half of the city underwater. Testing on the system is still ongoing, and the project is not expected to be fully complete until the end of this year. I read this fairly quickly, and I'm guessing that if you were just listening without reading the text, without preparing ahead of time, without checking things online like pictures and maybe some words you don't know, you probably didn't understand much of this report just by listening to it. It is quite dense, and I needed to spend time online to understand what it was because you need to understand the whole situation of this part of Italy to know what the heck they're talking about. Now, Italy is shaped like a boot if you look at a map of Europe. Now, there are parts where the land goes in and then there's water coming in. On low tide, then you will find that there is some land that comes up on one side of the water and forms a lagoon, which in Chinese is called a xihu. And that xi is an unusual word. Make sure you know how to write it. 不要写泻湖, it's xihu. It forms a lagoon. On high tide, then the water will come in from the ocean into the lagoon, and when it gets really high, it will flood the city. Now, I don't know if that helped any more than the article, but just imagine that normally they just have sort of a lake by the shore, and the water from the ocean is not coming in. But when the tide goes up, water floods in from the ocean into the lagoon's water level goes up, and then it floods the city. And that's always been a problem for Venice. But now they have developed a system of barriers to make the wall of the lagoon higher so the ocean water doesn't come into the lagoon.
好，所以刚刚 Karen 老师解释的主要就是像这个意大利呢，它的国土像一个靴子一样啊，那因为它国土的形状的关系呢，就会产生一些所谓的细湖啊，那细湖呢，就是它平常是好像是一个海边的一个小湖，可是它跟海是中间是隔起来的。好，那但是呢，涨潮的时候呢，那潮水就会淹过那个中间隔的那些路，那个一片小小的土地，然后呢就会灌到这个细湖里面。那细湖的水位就会涨起来，涨起来之后呢，常常那个水就会灌到城市里面去。所以换句话说，海水一涨潮之后呢，这个很多时候那个城市就会淹水啊。那所以他们想办法改善这个问题啊，所以他们就建造了这个 barriers 啊，就希望能够挡住这些要进入城市的水。
Okay, that was a beautiful explanation. That's exactly what it is. Let's go through the English sentence by sentence. So, new Venice barriers prevent flooding. So, what is that literally?
好，字面上就是新的威尼斯的屏障，避免水患。
或者防止
水患 yeah.
First sentence, new barriers installed in Venice in 2020 have proven capable of keeping high tide waters from flooding the city.
好，那这个句子基本上它的主词就是 new barriers， 就是新的屏障。然后呢，后面这个 installed， 接下来这个是一个形容词子句，关系代名词子句，它省略了这个 which were 哈，所以它 which were 省略掉。那 install 的是装设装置哈 set up， 所以在威尼斯所设置的这个新的屏障或者障碍哈，在2020年所设置的这个障碍怎么样呢？这一句话主词是 have proven， 它已经证实哈。那 have proven 后面常常接一个补语哈，证实它怎么样呢？那在这里补语就是 capable of， 证实它有这个能力可以做什么事情啊 ？To be capable of doing something， 就是它有这个能力可以做这件事情。那这个障碍或者屏障被证明可以做什么事呢？他们可以 keeping high tide waters， 他们可以保持啊。然后呢，这个高水位的 high 的高水位 tide waters 就是潮水。那 keep 使这些潮水怎么样 from 让它不至于 flooding the city， 让它不至于淹没城市。所以 keep A from happening 就是让 A 不会发生，或者 keep 这个某个东西 from 后面再加个动名词，像这里就是说让这个东西不至于发生动名词所讲的状况。
Let's see if you can understand it directly now that Wesley has explained it so clearly. New barriers installed in Venice in 2020 have proven capable of keeping high tide waters from flooding the city. Next sentence, the floodgate system, MOS, Modulo Sperimentale Elettromeccanico, or Experimental Electromechanical Module, was activated for the first time in July of 2020 after years of delays and setbacks. Now, I have to admit a kind of personal prejudice. The Italians are not the best organized people in the world. They often have a bureaucracy that moves very slowly, inefficiently, and often not very well. This has been under construction and under planning for many years, and they never seem to finish it. But they finally got it to the point where they could actually use it, and they found it works.
好，所以呢，这终于好，他们这个中间经过层层阻碍或者层层的拖延，好，到现在终于这个开始做，而且做好一部分了。所以这个地方这一句话一开始讲说 the floodgate system 就是这个防洪闸 floodgate flood 是洪水 gate 就是一个闸门，这个防洪闸的系统啊就叫 MOSE 啊。那它后面给你这个意大利文啊，也给你英文啊。英文里面这个 module 就是一个模组啊，所以它是一个电动的机械模组。那这个东西呢 was activated 就是被启用啊 ，to be activated 就是被启用的意思。那个 ACT act 就是动作嘛，它被启用了。
And we also have a 实验性的 experimental. That way they kind of protect themselves from criticism. They'll say, well, we're just trying it out.
Yeah, 那对，它这中间还有一个 experimental， 就是它是实验性的，因为没有人知道人能不能挡住这些，人力能不能挡住这些洪水哈。
It's not easy.
那真的是不容易哈，所以总之它就启用了。那 for the first time 就是它第一次、首次启用的意思啊，所以中文是讲首次启用，那英文呢是 was activated for the first time， 那首次放在后面。那是在什么时候首次启用呢？在2020年的7月。好，那是启用这件事情是怎么样？是 after years of delays， 它经过多年的拖延哈 ，delay 加了 s 表示不止拖了一次啊，还有 setbacks 就是一些挫折，也是一样，不止一个挫折。好 ，setback 就是一个挫折，通常是那你在前进的时候，你在 progress 的时候呢，发生了什么事情啊？所以产生什么 reversal 或者是一个 check in progress。The
system is made up of 78 barriers which can be raised to cut off the Venetian lagoon from the sea.
好，所以这一个系统呢 is made up of 就是它由什么组成呢？由78个屏障所组成的啊。那这个屏障怎么样 ？Which 就是指这些 barriers， 它可以 be raised， 它可以被升起来。干嘛呢 ？To 表示升起来的目的是 cut off， 就是切断这个威尼斯的西湖啊。那切断它不要跟什么有所联系呢 ？Cut off 这个西湖 from the sea， 就是把它西湖跟这个海岸。跟这个海水中间把它切掉啊，所以 cut off A from B 就是让 A 跟 B 中间不要有关联。
Okay, and the acronym they're using here is MOS, but it's probably MOS, at least according to English spelling rules. But I've already gotten the habit of saying MOS. In October, the MOS dams were used twice when the high tide rose to 120 centimeters and then to 140 centimeters.
好，所以在10月的时候呢，这个 most dams 这些这一个屏障了哈，这些水坝 were used 被用了 twice 被用了2次啊。那当这个 high tide 涨潮就是高的潮水 rose 这个高的潮水 涨起来，涨到多高呢？涨到120公分，然后呢，接下来又涨到140公分，所以这2次都用到了。
On both occasions, the barriers saved the city from flooding that would have typically left half of the city underwater.
On both occasions 就是2次都怎么样啊？那这2次呢，这些 barriers 都 saved the city from flooding， 就是拯救了这个城市免于泛滥啊，免于被洪水泛滥啊，或者海水泛滥。所以这个 from 这种 from 在这篇文章里面出现好多次，就是使它免于的意思，所以让这个城市免于受到这个洪水的侵犯。那这个 flooding 怎么样 ？That would have 这个是表示如果没有挡住的话，原本是可能啊 left half of the city 会让半个城市 underwater 在水下。被淹没。好，那在这里呢，先注意一下这个 leave 这种用法哈 ，leave 加个受词啊，那后面再加一个补语呢，就是表示把这个受词让这个受词处于什么状态之下。所以 left half of the city underwater 就是让一半的城市处于被淹没的状态。那另外一个就是他这里还用了一个副词 typically 啊 ，that would have typically left half of the city underwater。这个 typically 就是典型的，也就是说通常就会这样发生的。
Usually.
就是 usually 的意思。
I have to say, though, that the Venetians are used to this. This has been happening for hundreds of years, so it's quite common. It's not like they would be shocked by it.
Yeah, 那这个威尼斯人其实已经很习惯了哈。其实我记得我有好像看过这个新闻报道，那个时候好像他访问了街上的人，那个街上的威尼斯人是非常的新鲜啊，怎么居然这里没有淹到水？
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Testing on the system is still ongoing, and the project is not expected to be fully complete until the end of this year.
好，那 testing on the system 就是对于这个系统的测试。Can we also say testing of the system?
It's okay. I think on is better here, but of would be okay.
Okay, 好，所以这个地方用 of 也可以，但是这个 on 比较好哈。所以因为它是针对这个系统做测试嘛，哈，所以对这个系统跟对这个系统的测试呢，这个仍然在 ongoing， 就是它还在发生当中，还在持续，还没有结束的意思。然后这个 project 怎么样 ？is not expected to be 这个 is expected to 就是大家预期会。那如果是 not 的话呢，这个 not 其实接后面那个 until， 好 ，not expected to be fully complete， 大家觉得它不会全部完成 until 一直到什么时候才会完成呢？一直要到 the end of this year， 所以这个 not 它其实是跟这个后面的 until 来的，所以这个 project is not expected to be fully complete， 这 complete 是形容词啊 ，until 到什么时候才会 fully complete 呢 ？the end of this year。
I hadn't known about this before. I found this really interesting, and actually I really admire them for this effort.
好，所以这个他们做这件事情呢，这个付出的努力真的很让人敬佩。
Exactly. Yeah. Our second article is entitled UK Burger King urges customers to eat McDonald's.
好，那这篇文章我们中文标题是绝不是恶作剧，英国汉堡王鼓励客人吃麦当劳啊。那这个也当然不是英文标题的翻译啊，这是另外取的一个那个标题。
But it is kind of shocking.
对，但是我想各位看这个，不管是看英文标题还是看中文标题，都觉得怎么会这样？这两个不是最大的竞争对手吗？
We don't normally encourage people to go buy from our competitors.
Yeah, 通常我们不会鼓励我们的客人去我们的竞争对手那边买东西。
Here's our article. In November 2020, Burger King UK got on their Twitter account and encouraged customers to order from other fast food chains including McDonald's, KFC, Subway, and other food outlets. The statement was sent out as a means of support for the entire UK restaurant industry. The message told customers that restaurants employing thousands of staff really need your support at the moment. The surprising tweet came shortly before the UK lockdown went into effect, which meant that restaurants would only be able to offer takeaway or delivery. While maintaining that their Whopper was clearly the best choice, Burger King acknowledged that ordering a Big Mac is not such a bad thing. Now, what happens often with humans is we often are quite divisive. We fight, we compete, and we form sides. We form two different groups that are sort of against each other like enemies. But when we're all in trouble, that's when we often come together, and that seems to be what's happening here.
哈，这个我们人通常很容易就会这个分彼此然后会对立甚至于对抗。但是呢，通常人性就是遇到一个很大的问题、很大的这个困难的时候呢，这个不同边的人也会站在一起因为希望能够共度这个困难。
Because we cannot solve it all by ourselves.
因为真的这个如果每个人自生自灭的话，大家通通活不成所以不如大家 join forces.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our title again, UK is short for United Kingdom. So when we talk about 英国, that's what we usually say. We don't say England or whatever because it's a little confusing because UK includes more. It includes Scotland and Wales and also Northern Ireland. So if you say UK, it includes a larger number of areas of the UK. If you say England, it's just England. So UK is a good way to refer to 英国 when you're talking about it. And Burger King, everybody knows, urges people to do something is a really good verb. Make sure you know that one. So the title again, UK Burger King urges customers to eat McDonald's. Just one more thing. We often won't say to because it is a 虚词. It's a grammatical word that's not so important. We pronounce it, but we reduce the vowel. We say customers to eat to. We will often say to instead of to.
OK, 好，所以这个我们看到这个地方有一个很重要的字 urge. Urge 这个字呢，就是敦促的意思encourage. 那或者是 spur on S-P-U-R spur on 就敦促，就是赶快快大家去这种意思。所以这个大家可以先学起来。
In November 2020, Burger King UK got on their Twitter account and encouraged customers to order from other fast food chains, including McDonald's, KFC, Subway, and other food outlets.
好，在2020年的11月，英国的汉堡王呢 got on their Twitter account， 就是上了他们 Twitter 的账号，换句话说，他们就去推文了然后呢 encouraged 他鼓励顾客 customers 鼓励他们干嘛呢 to order 去订餐。从哪里订餐呢？从其他的这些速食的连锁店来订餐包括这个麦当劳这个肯德基炸鸡还有这个Subway 潜艇堡，还有其他的 food outlets outlet 其实本来就讲说是通常它是这个一个它的卖的是某一个这个制造商的产品但在这里呢其实就是指零售点吧。
Yeah, literally 销售中心。
销售中心那其他的食物的销售中心通常只有连锁店才会有所谓的 outlet 这种感觉。
The statement was sent out as a means of support for the entire UK restaurant industry.
好，那这个 statement was sent out 就是发出 as a means of 就是作为一个什么什么的方式他发这个 statement 他的目的他目的是要干嘛呢？或者是他就做什么用呢？它是一个 support 支持支持谁呢？ support for the entire 就是通通都有，通通包含在内having every part included 那所以或者说没有任何一个地方被遗漏了，所以整个英国的 restaurant industry 餐饮业因为这个餐饮业在这一次的这个新冠肺炎其实受创非常的惨重
Which includes, as we will see, their competitors. And that's what's so unusual about this.
Yeah. 事实上他们这个因为是整个英国的餐饮业嘛，所以也包括了他们的竞争对手。
The message told customers that restaurants employing thousands of staff really need your support at the moment.
好，那这个讯息呢，告诉这个消费者 that 告诉他们说 restaurants餐厅那这里呢，各位看到它没有加冠词，所以它没有特别指哪些餐厅，它是用复数，换句话说，它是泛指这些餐厅就英国的这些餐厅怎么样呢？后面一个分词来修饰，那这个分词 employing 其实你可以把它看成是个形容词子句的简化restaurants that are employing
or which employ
或者 which employ 都可以那所以这些有雇用 thousands of staff 就是数千名的员工所以我想英国的餐饮业当然可能甚至于不止数千名反正很多很多的员工，那这些餐厅呢，这些 restaurants really need your support 真的需要你的支持。那 at the moment 相当于中文讲的此时此刻那各位学这个片语的时候你就把它对应起来就是 at the moment 就是此时此刻，你把它熟悉之后，以后中文你要讲此时此刻的时候，你很快你是想起来整个 at the moment， 而不是讲说此时此刻，时是 time， 刻是 moment， 所以 在此时此刻是不是 at this time and this moment， 你这样想半天想出来英文就很奇怪了。那碰到这种直接可以对应的说法，你就直接记起来。此时此刻英文通常就讲 at the moment。I
think that's a really good equivalence for this context. In other contexts, you might use something just like 目前。
Yeah.
If it's not so emphatic. So I think that 此时此刻 is pretty emphatic. Sometimes it's not so emphatic. So for example, Wesley says, Karen, do you have any thoughts on this? I might say, no, not at the moment.
Yeah, 那个时候真的目前就是 Karen 你对这个有什么想法吗？那 Karen 老师可能就说现在没有什么想法，就目前而已。那意思就是也许等一下我会想到什么，但现在我是没有什么想法。
Right, in that case it's less emphatic.
对，那时候就没有那么强调，那个时候 at the moment 你就可以把它讲成是目前的意思。
The surprising tweet came shortly before the UK lockdown went into effect, which meant that restaurants would only be able to offer takeaway or delivery.
所以这个地方他说 the surprising 就是令人惊讶的，这个令人惊讶的这个推文呢 came 什么时候来的呢？是 shortly before， shortly 就是没多久所以 shortly before 就是没多久之前就在什么之前没多久啦，在什么之前没多久呢？在英国封城之前没多久那 lockdown 这个字现在很红这个就是封城 unfortunately 所以呢英国要封城之前他们赶快放这个公布了这个 tweet 那这个 lockdown 怎么样呢？后面有一个很好的片语went into effect 就是实施的意思to go into effect 就是实施，或者生效或者实施它英文你可以说就 be enforced E-N-F-O-R-C-E-D be enforced， 所以他们在封城生效之前发出了这个 tweet， 那 which meant 那这个所谓的 lockdown 的意思是什么呢？这个 which 就指那个 lockdown， 它的意思就是 restaurants 餐厅们 would only be able to 只能够干嘛呢？ offer takeaway 它只能够提供外带，或者是 offer delivery，或者是外送，换句话说人家不能上餐厅去吃饭了。那我想对于很多人来讲，上餐厅吃饭那个经验是很重要，你要在餐厅里面在那个气氛之下，在那个氛围之下吃饭才有意思。你如果说外带的话，可能人觉得那就算了，我在家里吃随便煮煮就好了。
I like Wesley's use of 餐厅门那个门The other thing I think is 推特那个推还有个推文 I think that's such a good translation 把它推出去
Yeah, 推 Yeah
That's really clever
Yeah
Okay, while maintaining that their Whopper was clearly the best choice, Burger King acknowledged that ordering a Big Mac is not such a bad thing.
我觉得这句话非常的有趣
That's cute, yeah.
非常的 cute Maintaining that, maintain 就是认为主张 maintain 有那种主张的意思那 maintain 还有另外一个是维持所以换句话说他还是维持他们的立场，我们还是最棒的我没有说叫你去别的地方买表示我们不好，我们还是最棒的。所以这个 maintain 在这里我觉得这个是用的非常的漂亮它可以表示主张，可以表示维持我们还是最棒的啦所以 while 就是虽然他们还是说他们的这个Whopper 是 clearly 这 clearly 这个字也很有趣很明显的不用说嘛，这个大家都看得出嘛，我们是 the best choice clearly不用说的但是呢他们 acknowledge that acknowledge 就是他这个就是承认的，就是我不能否认
Yeah, that's better. Actually, that's better than 承认
Yeah, 我不能否认我们也不可否认说这个 ordering a Big Mac 那你去麦当劳点他们的招牌的那个大麦克呢is not such a bad thing 也不是那么坏的事情也不是什么坏事就是也可以啦，我们的最棒了，但是你要去也可以啦
But in fact, because they are such close competitors, you know that their products are actually more or less the same.
Yeah, 那事实上他们的因为是竞争对手嘛，所以他们的产品呢其实很多时候多多少少都差不多 Yeah, 当然他一定会说我们有我们的特色，绝对不是差不多的我们的还是比较棒
Yeah. Well, they have to make their money.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's it for today. Please make sure you tune in next time. We'll look out for you. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.